Imagine a country that has gone from a technology startup to a global innovation hub in 3 decades. The Israel of the 1990s and the Israel of the 2020s are two different eras of the same nation, which was able to turn limited resources into endless opportunities. How did this Silicon Valley of the Middle East grow out of the desert? Why is Israel called a country where innovation is not a luxury, but a necessity? Today, we will compare two epochs, the time of formation and the time of maturity, in order to understand how the country turned from a region of startups into a powerful center of technology, defense, and science. In the 1990s, Israel experienced rapid but chaotic changes. After the collapse of the USSR, hundreds of thousands of new returnees came to the country, many of whom had engineering and scientific education. This has become a real catalyst for a technological breakthrough. At that time, the concept of a startup nation did not yet exist, but the first signs of the future phenomenon were already appearing. Technological clusters were created, the foundations of venture financing were laid, and the first IT companies appeared, which would later bring Israel to the world market. Israel in the 1990s was a country of ambition and limitations. The economy was just moving from a centralized model to a market one. Inflation and social inequality hindered development, and regional instability required constant investments in defense. Nevertheless, it is defense technology that has become the engine of progress. The development of navigation, communication, and security systems subsequently formed the basis of many civil innovations. By 1998, Israel had already begun exporting software and security technologies worldwide. Israel in the 2020s is a completely different story. Today, this country is recognized as one of the world leaders in the field of artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, medicine, and agricultural technologies. There are more than 9 million inhabitants, and the number of startups per capita is one of the highest in the world. Google, Apple, Microsoft, Intel, Nvidia, they all opened their research centers here. Israel has become a place where ideas turn into products, and innovations are born not only in laboratories, but also on the streets, in universities, even in the army. By the way, the army is one of the most powerful technology incubators. Units like Unit 8200 have become a forge of personnel for the technology sector. That's where hundreds of engineers who founded IT and security startups came from. In the 2020s, Israel is not just creating technology, it is exporting intelligence. From drones and medical AI systems to autonomous cars and solar energy, Israeli developments are shaping the future of the planet today. Society has also changed. If in the 1990s Israel was primarily a state of immigrants, then in the 2020s it became a state of ideas. A new generation of entrepreneurs has emerged who think globally. Startups like Mobileye, Waze, Fiverr, Monday.com, we have made Israel a recognizable brand in the world of technology. And Tel Aviv has become a symbol of innovation, creativity, and freedom. However, success did not come without difficulties. High housing prices, social stratification, and tensions in politics and international relations remain challenges. But at the same time, it is precisely the ability to overcome crises that makes Israel unique. They know how to turn threats into opportunities and limited resources into an incentive for development. Israel's technology sector of the 2020s is not only IT, but also agro-innovations, desert farms, automated irrigation systems, the use of AI in agriculture. All this allows the country to feed itself and export food security technologies around the world. Israel is also actively developing in the field of medicine and biotechnology. Digital medicine, personalized treatment approaches, startups in the field of gene therapy and diagnostics. All this makes the country one of the leaders in the field of health tech. In the 1990s, medicine in Israel was just beginning its digital transformation, and by the 2020s, it had already become a benchmark for the effectiveness and integration of technology into practice. But perhaps the main difference between Israel in the 1990s and the 2020s is the scale of thinking. Previously, the main goal was to survive and adapt, but today it is to create and inspire. Israel is no longer just a country looking for a place in the world. This is a country that shapes the future. She creates technologies that save lives, improve water quality, make energy more accessible, and help humanity move forward. Israel in the 1990s was a country of engineers and optimists. Israel in the 2020s is a country of visionaries and strategists. Back then, people dreamed of catching up with the West. Today, they are helping this West to move on. Back then, startups were an experiment. Today is a state strategy. Then Israel was looking for itself. Today, he sets the direction for entire industries. But with all the progress, it is important to remember that the roots of this success are in culture, education, and thirst for knowledge. Israel invests enormous resources in education, especially in technical fields. Universities, research institutes, accelerators are all an integral part of the national ecosystem. That is why Israel continues to develop despite all the challenges. The bottom line is simple. The Israel of the 1990s is the foundation. The Israel of the 2020s is the result. And this result is impressive. A small country without oil and with limited resources was able to become the technological heart of the region and one of the key players on the world stage. She proved that innovations are born not where there is a lot, but where they are needed. And if you look ahead, you can be sure that by the 2030s, Israel will continue its journey, turning from a startup country into a solution country.